everyone. Today we're here with Dana Myers, our Wireless Connectivity Channel Marketing Manager, to learn a little bit more about Texas Instruments Wi-Fi solutions. So Dana, can you tell me a little bit about our solutions and the products that we offer?
Yeah, Helena, thank you. So we have a portfolio of Wi-Fi solutions. We have what we call our Wi-Link family, which is typically going to be a combination of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth or just Wi-Fi solutions. But these connect into higher end processors like a Satara platform that have Linux or Android. These type of applications are really used in like automotive, portable internet, higher end machine to machine and things like that. That's really where that fits in. The other class of products that we have is called the SimpleLink Wi-Fi CC3000 solution. And this is really kind of an all embedded solution where we've brought the technical side of the Wi-Fi, the drivers, the supplicant, and things like that inside the solution itself. So that does a couple things. One is it allows it to be used with really low-end MCUs. So you can use it even with a very low cost, very low power TI value line MSP430. Customers that don't have RF expertise can use this very easily as well. They're not required to have a lot of RF expertise in-house. They can use the reference designs that we have from a hardware perspective and then sample code we have from the software perspective. So in addition to that, we have the solutions themselves, and then really to enable the broad market, we do a lot of things around that. So we have the reference designs like I mentioned. Customers can copy and paste that onto their own boards, which saves them a lot of cost and time and effort. We also have a lot of documentation around it. So, from a software perspective, how to use the APIs. From the hardware perspective, there's a checklist that says, all right, now I've used this reference design, how do I make sure that I can have a first pass success with my PCB? Right. They also do things, we have a ton of sample applications and sample source code that customers can use as a starting point. So different MCUs are supported, different applications like home automation, we have sample email, web servers, and different things on different platforms that the customer can use. Cool. We also have a support community, so customers can come in and ask real-time questions to our engineers if they're getting stuck or have some things that they're not quite sure of. So all this together really brings a broad market solution for Wi-Fi to the market.
Okay, great, thanks. So you talked a little bit about the application areas for Wi-Link, but what are some of the application areas for SimpleLink Wi-Fi CC3000?
So great question. So we're seeing customers use it in all kinds of different things. Kind of some of the options that we're seeing are like home automation or appliances that are starting to get connected, even some of the health and different things around that as well, machine to machine where they're talking to each other. But really it's just anything that wants to take advantage of existing Wi-Fi infrastructure and connect, right? So you're getting direct access to the internet. You're able to connect very easily because people know Wi-Fi and have seen it very frequently in places that they live, work, and go to.
So I'm sure some of our competitors have similar Wi-Fi solutions, but what are some of the key differentiators for SimpleLink CC3000?
So I think there's a couple. I think one of the key ones is what we call a smart config. So with Wi-Fi, when you're connecting something to an access point, you have to have a way to connect to it. Most of the devices that a CC3000 would go into don't have like a keyboard, there's no display, to select things and stuff like that. And so you need some kind of mechanism to connect to the access point. TI's Smart Config is very differentiated in the market and a very easy way to do that. We also have a couple things. We talked about the small host. So some of the competitors require larger hosts because some of the additional software from a Wi-Fi perspective is on the host itself. And because we don't require that, it's basically a driver and kind of the command control side, you can really use it with very small, low cost, low power MCUs. We also have some things, I think we talked about the plethora of information that we have out there and the support. We've seen that as a differentiator as well, that TI really wants to support the broad market, and we're doing a lot of things in effort to do that. We talked as well, the module itself is pre-certified or it's certified, so FCC, IC, and CE. And that can save the customer, up to like $50,000 that they wouldn't have to spend on their own product because they can use the modular certification from the module that we have itself. And then I think the other thing is, from a competitive standpoint, just the pricing in general. Wi-Fi is, all over the place. A lot of people are trying to do Wi-Fi. TI's module is $999 for 1K units, and we're seeing that as a very competitive price in the market.
Yeah, definitely. So you had mentioned the first differentiator as being TI's smart config technology. So can you give me a little bit more information on that?
Yeah, so smart config is really the mechanism that you use to connect to the access point. If you think about it from the end user perspective, you want to make that really simple. You don't want to make it complicated where, like my mom would have to understand Wi-Fi terminology and DHCP and different things like that. So with smart config itself, we support sample apps on iOS devices, Android, and PC as well with a Java-based application. And basically what it does is you're going to connect your device that you're using, say your phone. You're going to connect it to the access point you're trying to connect to. You put in your password and press start. And the application automatically sends the information to the CC3000 device that tells it how to, and then it will automatically connect. So it's very differentiated. Some of the other options that are out there in the market, you have to connect to things and disconnect. You have to, hear different terminologies even to try to understand things and set up different things that can be a lot more complicated. So we see that as a major differentiator.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as easy as 1, 2, 3 and start, right?
Definitely.
So if a customer wants to get started with one of TI's Wi-Fi solutions, how can they do that?
So great question. We have a couple of development kits that customers can get started with to evaluate. One of them is a CC3000 EM, and the other one is a CC3000 Boost. So the CC3000 Boost goes into TI launch pads, and we have sample software that can work with that. And then the CC3000 EM works with some of the experimenter boards like the FRAM. So customers can take the different hardware solutions, the documentation, and then software you can get to from the wiki and get started evaluating and see what you think.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for your time, Dana, and thanks to everyone who's watching. We hope this information was helpful.